As I stood on the edge of the festival stage, heart racing and breath catching in my throat, I glanced over at my son, Lucas. At just 16, he was about to face an audience for the first time, clutching his guitar like a lifeline. The summer air was thick with anticipation, the sweet scent of cotton candy wafting from nearby stalls mingling with the distant sound of laughter. I could feel the crowd's energy buzz around us, but one voice stood out: Miss Thompson, the infamous local music mogul, leaning casually against a tree, arms crossed, skepticism radiating off him like an unsettling chill. "This kid has no talent," he had sneered earlier, leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. But there was something about Lucas's music that ignited a fire within me. I had watched him pour his heart and soul into every lyric, every chord as he crafted his songs in our tiny living room, surrounded by the faded memories of a guitar once strummed by his late father. I wanted to scream, to tell Mr. Thompson that talent isn't just about raw ability, it's about passion and grit. "Just do your best, honey," I whispered to Lucas as his fingers trembled over the strings. "Yeah, Mom, I got this," he replied with a nervous grin, though I could see doubt flickering in his bright blue eyes. The moment he stepped into the spotlight, everything else faded away. The crowd's whispers became muffled, the hard wooden stage cool against his shoes. He took a deep breath, and for a heartbeat, I held mine, praying that he would be strong enough to rise above the skepticism that seemed to cling to him. When he began to play, his voice was shaky at first, but then it soared, filling the air with an unmistakable magic. I watched as the audience began to sway, lost in the rhythm of his song. Just then, I caught Mr. Thompson's gaze, a scrunching of eyebrows, a flicker of surprise. Could it be? Was Lucas breaking through the wall of doubt? Before I could assimilate that thrill, a thought struck me. What if this was just the beginning? What if that unmarked cassette tape I had found could turn their skepticism into admiration? Before we continue with this surprising revelation, a quick alert for you who follow our stories. YouTube has been removing subscriptions lately, so check if you're still subscribed and leave your like to support the channel. Now, back to the crucial moment. As I watched Lucas pour his heart into that first song, I could hardly believe my eyes. Doubt and disbelief faded as his passion ignited something within the audience. I could see whispers of curiosity ripple through the crowd, glances exchanged. Was Mr. Thompson finally reconsidering his harsh judgment? But as his performance continued, a familiar sense of worry crept in. The music industry was a ruthless crucible, and while one moment can shine brightly, the next could all too easily dissolve into shadows. After the festival, the weeks that followed were a whirlwind of emotions. Lucas was riding high, buoyed by local praise, but I sensed the pressure building around him. One evening, as we sifted through remnants of our past in the dim light of our living room, my fingers brushed against an unmarked cassette tape buried beneath the dust of forgotten memories. Curiosity sparked a twinge of excitement mixed with apprehension. What if this holds a piece of Dad? I mused, spotting Lucas across the room, his eyes wide with intrigue. "Can we play it, Mom?" he asked, his voice catching slightly. I nodded, feeling a knot of hope twist in my stomach. We found a dusty old cassette player. The clicks and whirs grew louder in the silence of the room. As the first notes floated to life, I was transported back to a different time. My husband's voice, rich and haunting. There was a rawness in his melody that echoed through the room, unraveling memories I cherished deeply. Lucas listened intently, captivated. "This is incredible, Mom. Dad never got to share this. But maybe I can." The gleam in his eyes reignited my resolve. Could this song be the missing key to unlock his full potential? Yet doubts clung to me as tightly as the doubts from Mr. Thompson. Was Lucas prepared for what lay ahead? The path to the spotlight was littered with jealousy and competition, and it could crush even the most dedicated. But maybe, just maybe, this could be our chance to rewrite our story. "Let's do this together, Lucas," I said, feeling a sense of unity spark in the air. As we embarked on the journey of reimagining his father's song, I couldn't shake the feeling that our lives were about to change in ways we couldn't yet comprehend. And so we set forth into the uncharted waters of the music industry, where challenges lurked like shadows. Would Lucas rise to meet them? The road ahead promised heartaches and victories, each step drawing us nearer to that defining moment at the Grammys. What would happen when Mr. Thompson witnessed the culmination of our hard work and resilience? Stay tuned, because the journey is just beginning. As we dove deeper into the creation of that long-lost song, the atmosphere in our little home transformed. The dusty corners and creaky floorboards became sanctuaries of inspiration, where Lucas and I shared laughter and tears over the notes my husband had left behind. It was more than just music. It was our connection to him, our history, and our hopes for the future. One afternoon, as I watched Lucas strumming the guitar, I saw the weight of his father's legacy begin to settle on his shoulders. "Mom, what if nobody cares? What if it's just another song?" His voice trembled, a mix of excitement and fear flooding over his words. I could feel my heart race, the urge to comfort him rising like an unstoppable wave. "Lucas, remember what I always tell you. Talent is only part of it. It's about sharing your heart with the world. You're not just singing Dad's song. You're making it yours," I replied, voice steady, although I was wrestling with my own doubts. Days turned into weeks, and the rhythm of our rehearsal became like a heartbeat to our lives, pulsing with hope. We began to gain traction in our small town, our story growing like wildfire. Local gigs multiplied, and with each performance, Lucas's confidence blossomed, sparking whispers of admiration that even reached the ears of some industry insiders. But with each high came an equal lodulous peers who echoed the doubts of Mr. Thompson, toxic commentary that pierced through our hard-earned victories. Then came the day when we got the call, an opportunity to perform at a citywide competition. The prize, a chance to record a professional demo, a pivotal step on the path to the Grammys. This could be it, Lucas. Your chance to show everyone what you're made of. My voice was laced with excitement, but behind my enthusiasm, I could feel the tightening knot of anxiety. Little did we know, our competition was fierce, and hidden behind the glitz and glamour lay secret rivalries and unexpected surprises. Would we be able to rise above it all? The night of the competition loomed large, the stakes higher than ever. "Mom, what if I crash and burn?" Lucas's vulnerability mirrored my own trepidation. "Just remember, no matter the result, you've already made me so proud," I assured him, squeezing his hand tightly. Would he find the courage to perform? Or would the pressure overcome him when it mattered most? As the crowd buzzed with energy, I stole a glance at the judges' panel. Mr. Thompson sat front and center, arms crossed, eyes like a hawk assessing its prey. It was time. The stage was set for a showdown that would determine our fate. Would Lucas prove his worth? Stay with us, as Chapter 4 will unveil the shocking twists that lay ahead. As the lights dimmed, a spotlight enveloped the stage, casting an ethereal glow where Lucas stood, guitar in hand. The murmurs of the audience faded into an almost palpable silence, a tension ripe with promise and anxiety. I could feel my heart thudding in sync with the rhythm of his breath, the anticipation crackling in the air around us. This was it, the moment we had both waited for. "Just breathe, Lucas," I whispered, my fingertips lightly brushing against the back of his arm. He nodded, a small spark of determination igniting behind those bright blue eyes. One could see all the months of hardship and sacrifice reflected in his gaze. A glimpse of the young man he was becoming, a tapestry woven with thread of resilience. As he stepped forward, the stage transformed into a world of his own making. He was no longer the timid boy who had hesitated under the scrutiny of a skeptical audience. This was the culmination of every late-night jam session, every heartbreak he had poured into his songs. When he struck the first chord, it resonated within me, a note that felt like home, and then he began to sing a melody that danced through the air like a soft breeze. I closed my eyes, letting the music wash over me. Every note was a channel to his soul, a connection to his father, a chance to share a legacy long buried in shadows. Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes as his voice filled the venue, enveloping us in warmth and nostalgia. But just as I began to lose myself in the beauty of the moment, I caught a glimpse of Mr. Thompson, sitting in the front row. His expression shifted subtly. I could almost see the gears turning in his mind. Was it disbelief? Shock? I couldn't tell, but I felt a flicker of hope ignite within me. Could this be the moment he began to recognize Lucas's talent? But the competition wasn't a mere formality. It was a battleground filled with raw ambition. As Lucas poured his heart into the performance, I could sense the shadows lurking, jealous eyes, fixated on him, waiting for a misstep to pounce. I couldn't shake the feeling of impending danger lurking beneath the surface. And then, as if summoned by my thoughts, a rival from the local scene, Jenny, surged onto the stage with her entourage. The air crackled with electricity as she began her performance. Jenny was magnetic, a powerhouse with a voice that could drown out an army. But her rise was tainted by whispers. She was known for sabotaging fellow performers, a reputation that preceded her. Look at that. Like a classic bull in a china shop, a voice behind me scoffed. I turned sharply, spotting a group of bystanders sharing snickers. My heart sank. This was a test of more than just talent. It was about integrity, about rising above pettiness. As I watched Jenny dominate the stage, I felt the ground shift beneath us. Stay focused, Lucas, I muttered under my breath, a prayer mixed with desperate hope. The weight of the competition was palpable. It felt like a tightrope walk without a safety net. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Lucas's turn came again, the spotlight beckoning him. He took a moment to collect his thoughts while the judges scribbled notes, looking for any sign of weakness. I remembered our talks about standing strong, about showing the world that real talent surpasses mere tricks and manipulations. Just remember why you started, I whispered, words meant to anchor him. He nodded, a look of resolve washing over his face. When he began his second performance, it felt different, more confident, more assertive. The familiar chords rang out, but this time, the notes held depth. Then, he transformed his father's unreleased song, weaving in his own lyrical flair, imbuing it with the essence of his youth, his struggles, and his dreams. With every heartbeat, he gave life to the words that only existed in the dusty corners of our old cassette player. I watched transfixed as he connected with the audience, their expressions shifting from curiosity to admiration. Even Mr. Thompson leaned forward, nodding slowly. Was this the recognition we had longed for? But just as everything seemed within reach, a chaotic disturbance erupted from the back of the room, an unintentional clatter. A drink spilled, sending ripples of commotion through the crowd. I held my breath, anxiety pulsing through the air. Would it disrupt Lucas's flow? But Lucas didn't falter. He forged ahead, channeling the frenzy into his energy. Keep going. Just keep walking through it, I whispered fiercely, as I could feel the weight of his hopes and fears thrumming in the room. When he concluded, silence fell before the applause erupted like a wave crashing against the shore. Flashes of excitement burst through the crowd, and for a moment, I dared to believe that we had really captured the audience's hearts. The judges deliberated behind their table, their expressions unreadable. Even in the swirl of elation, I could almost feel the questions wafting through the air. Could Lucas withstand the upcoming pressures? Would the attention he was gaining bring out the best in him, or plunge him into the depths of doubt? As they announced the winner, my grip on the edge of my seat tightened like a vice. The words echoed in my mind. The talent showcased tonight was astonishing. But only one truly stood out. My heart raced. Who would they choose? In that moment, I remembered all the hurdles we had faced, the whispers of doubt, and the harsh critiques. It all led to this singular chance. Would it be worth it? Would all those moments of practice, every tear shed in uncertainty, culminate in triumph? Lucas, the announcer boomed, the name soaring like a note lifted by the wind. I could barely process it as excitement exploded around me, cheers mingling with disbelief. There was a moment, just a fleeting second, where the world seemed to pause, hanging in a delicate balance. The turbulence of emotions surged within me like a tidal wave, drowning me momentarily before lifting me up in an exhilarating rush. Yet amidst the cheering crowd and the rush of ecstasy, I couldn't help but think of the shadows looming over our victory. After the applause faded, how would Lucas navigate the fame that came with it? I felt an ache in my heart, a sense of urgency washing over me. Would anyone still see the raw talent behind the facade? Or would it all become about appearances, fueled by jealousy and competition? The unexpected wins and losses of life loomed ahead like a cliff's edge, and I wanted so desperately to protect this moment for him, the essence of who he was, his passion unmarred by outside influences. Just as I thought we had reached the summit, I could feel deeper challenges looming on the horizon, a profound realization that this was only the beginning. Stay with us as we take this emotional roller coaster further into Lucas's world. It's not just about talent, it's about the battles that shape us and the bonds that connect us. What will happen next, as Lucas prepares for his next big show? A chance to shine, but also a possibility of everything crashing down. The answers await in the final chapter, where dreams and realities collide. As the echoes of applause faded away, I could hardly believe what had just happened. Lucas stood there, trophy in hand, his expression a blend of disbelief and pure joy. But beneath the glimmer of victory, I felt a weight in my chest, a familiar pang of concern creeping in. This wasn't just about winning. It was the threshold of a new reality, and I could only hope he would remain true to himself amidst the chaos that awaited us. "Mom, I can't believe we did it," he exclaimed, his excitement bubbling over as we embraced, the warm glow of fulfilled dreams wrapping around us. But in the back of my mind, I could hear the faint whispers, including those of Mr. Thompson. I remembered the man who had dismissed my son, who stood now on the brink of something extraordinary. This moment was our victory, yet it also felt like the calm before the storm. The whirlwind of media attention was immediate. Photos, interviews, and accolades came flooding in, presenting a world that glittered yet felt so foreign. "Stay grounded, Lucas," I reminded him during moments of excitement, my heart clenching with the underlying fear that fame might change him. I encouraged him to focus on his music, to remember why he started, but the truth remained. The industry was ruthless. The bond we had reinforced within our humble walls was what I feared would be tested in this new arena. One evening, as we sat in our living room now filled with golden records and press clippings, I caught sight of the cassette tape that had started this journey. "Your father would be so proud, Lucas," I said softly, my voice thick with emotion. He nodded, and for a moment, we were transported back to simpler times, where music was just a way to express ourselves, untainted by ambition or rivalry. Days turned into months, and while Lucas flourished in his new role, the specter of those doubts loomed larger. Jealousy simmered from peers. The pressure was suffocating. Then, there came a turning point, an invitation to perform at the Grammys. "This is your chance, Lucas. Show them who you are," I urged him, though my heart twisted with unease. Behind every opportunity lurked the reality of the harsh scrutiny of the industry. On the night of the Grammys, the atmosphere crackled with excitement. I could see Lucas had transformed once again, standing tall under the spotlight. As he took center stage, I held my breath, remembering the days when Mr. Thompson had belittled his talent. As he began to play the song, his father's song woven with his own essence, I saw not just a musician but a storyteller, connecting deeply with his audience. And then I spotted Mr. Thompson in the audience, eyes riveted on Lucas. In that moment, I knew something monumental was about to unfold. The crescendo of Lucas's performance vibrated through the hall, capturing not just the attention of critics but also the hearts of everyone present. The expression on Mr. Thompson's face transformed. I could see admiration where once there had been disdain. As the applause swelled, I realized that acceptance had blossomed, not just from the audience, but also from Lucas and, in a sense, from ourselves. Triumph wasn't about defeating adversaries. It was about overcoming our internal struggles and embracing our uniqueness. "Thank you for believing in me, Mom," Lucas whispered, tears mingling with joy as he took a deep bow, basking in the moment. I couldn't contain my own tears, my heart swelling with pride and gratitude. This journey, filled with laughter, heartache, and countless sacrifices, led us to this incredible destination, a celebration of resilience, love, and the unyielding desire to chase one's dreams. Before you go, dear viewers, I said, the camera focusing on me, if you enjoyed our journey, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and join us for future stories filled with passion, perseverance, and the magic that binds us all. Because in the end, this isn't just Lucas's story, it's a testament to all of us who dare to dream against the odds, reminding us that every setback is merely a setup for a remarkable comeback. So stick around, and let's make more memories together.